Hi, my name is Robai. Today we continue our conversation on adoption. Last time we spoke about where to start your adoption process, the requirements, the agencies, up to the time a child is placed with you. I'm going to link the video of that down below. So please check it out because we spoke at length on that. Today, we are going to talk about the legal adoption. Now, you are placed with a child. Maybe you met the child and now the child comes home. That is a separate process because the first one was application. Now the child is at home. Now, from now, the time the child is at home, legally, you are supposed to foster the child for 3 months. In these 3 months, you are supposed to take the baby back to the agency at least monthly. Most agencies require that. And also back to the children's home where they were regularly every month so that they can be able to look at the child to see how the child is faring on, how you're bonding with your child, if you have any concerns, if you have any questions. And they're also going to do a report because that report will be important even as you start the legal process. After 3 months now is when you can now go file for legal adoption in court. Most parents, when the children come home, they forget. They are happy bonding with the child and they take too long until the child needs to go to school. Then they remember they need a birth certificate and therefore start rushing the process for court. So you have this 3 months, which is called the foster period. After the 3 months, you can either use a lawyer or you self-represent in court. And that one means that you now file your documents in court requesting the court to grant you adoption for this child. Remember, in our last video, we said that adoption is permanent. Now, this legal process is what makes it permanent because up to this point, the child is not yours. Even though, yes, you're calling them by the names that you want them to continue with, but until you complete the legal process, the child is not fully yours. You're just fostering, you're just a caregiver on behalf of the government and the home. So if you want this adoption process to be complete, please follow through with the legal process. As I mentioned before, it can either be, you can either self-represent or you can use a lawyer. And please make sure you're using a lawyer who knows the adoption process because, excuse me, people have had issues in court because their lawyer didn't fully understand what the legal process was, matters adoption. After 3 months, if you're self-representing or your lawyer, it happens the same way, they will write to your agency requesting for your documents. Now, this is a combination of several documents. Your documents, the ones you applied, the first time you're applying for adoption. They'll also give you the child's documents, like their freeing certificate, their story. If they were abandoned, if they were mother orphan, the documents that the people concerned signed, the documents that the child services, every research that was done around the child, you'll be given those documents from the children's home. Those are what will be contained in that file, and that's what you use to build your case even as you're going to request the courts to grant you adoption. Once the documents have been filed in court, they are filed in High Court, not at a magistrate's court, in High Court. So across Kenya, as long as there's a High Court, you can file your adoption requests there. In court, it's pretty easy. We have self-represented for both our children. Our oldest one I mentioned is kinship adoption, so we haven't gone through with that process. But our other 2 children, we have gone through with the legal process. In fact, we are almost completing our sons. Again, we're in that category of parents who took a bit too long before we started the legal process. So once you have filed the documents, the It's typically the same, the court process. It's very simple, not intimidating. This is not a criminal case. There isn't any back and forth. The judge just wants to get to know you. The judge wants to confirm that you have the ability to take care of this child, that you understand that it is adoption is in the best interest of the child, that you are aware that this is permanent. So that's why you'll be questioned a bit, but it takes the legal course. So for example, the first time you go to court, it's appointment of guardian ad litem, and you're also requesting the court to give you orders so that the children's services can conduct their own independent research. Again, to confirm that this child is legally freed for adoption, because not all children in homes are free for adoption. Not all children don't have a relative looking for them. Not all children are available for adoption. And there are cases that the children have not been available, or there's a fishy story around them. So that's why the children's services are going to conduct their own research. You also provided the documents that you were given according to the research and the work that was done by the agency. So this is a different independent kind of research. So the two things you are requesting the court is for appointment of the guardian ad litem. Guardian ad litem in layman's terms is just the eyes for the court. They are acting on behalf of the court to be able to confirm that what you are telling the court about this child is actually what happens. So the guardian ad litem will give a report, will write a report to court saying that, yes, I visited, I have known this family, I see how they're bringing up the child, I see how they love the child is in school, the child has bonded well with the family, this is how they conduct discipline in their family, the child is not deprived of anything. So that's what they report, and then they'll give their recommendations. I therefore recommend that the court allows this family to, I'm forgetting the legal words, allows this family to adopt these children. And also the Nairobi Children's Services, okay, I'm saying Nairobi because we're in Nairobi, but the Children's Services Department will also give their report based on what they found, because they'll also come home and do their research and see where the child sleeps and look at the interaction between the family and the child. They'll see how the child is playing, how everything about the child in their home. Basically, they'll spend a few hours just to observe, and then they'll give their report. And this report is going to also request the judge to grant you, the family, adoption or not. So once you are done with once you've gone to court for the appointment of the children's services, because the judge will give you number of days, 30 days, 45 days, for you to get the orders and serve these people, for the research to be conducted, and then a report to be done, and then it's filed, the reports are filed back in court. So after this, on the date that you have been given, you go back to court, and now it's hearing, and the judge will want to hear from the parents, will want to hear from the legal guardians. Remember in my last video, which again I'm going to link it down below, we spoke of legal guardians, the people who are going to be there in case of your demise. The judge will want to hear from them. The judge will also want to hear from the children's services, and in regards to their report, the judge will also want to hear from the agency, and the guardian ad litem will also be questioned. But most importantly, the judge will want to see the child. So if it's a small child, they'll be seen. If the child can talk, the judge will ask them a few questions just to try and establish. After all that, then now finally you will be given a judgment date, or you can request for a judgment date, and then you come to court for judgment. Many times when the documents are done properly, there are no questions in the reports, there are no gaps, judgment is usually granted, and it's usually in favor of the child and the adoptive parents. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Next time, we shall talk about adoption and birth certificate. What happens after you've been granted adoption? What next? What are the next steps? Thank you very much, and Please follow me, follow the channel, subscribe, like, and let me also hear comments, feedback, questions, anything you have in regards to adoption in Kenya. God bless you.